Welcome back to the Dragon's Lair. And we're going to do a little talk about this. It's my buddy's. It's called a Grand Power MK100 X Trim. But we're going to do a little, product review here. Here you got my standard old 365, my daily carry. Safe, no bullets in it. But what I wanted to show was these. Here you have your P365 standard magazine, 12 round, comes with the gun. Here's your standard P365 magazine, but this has the mag guts conversion on it, which takes it from a 12 round to a 14 round and puts this little base plate on it to give it the little extra space it needs, plus new guide up here. I wanted to show you this because I liked the P365. It felt pretty good, but my finger just was a little bit off on the bottom here. And that kind of irritated me at times. The mag guts, that little shelf they put on there, took the P365 from nice to very nice. Feels really good now. In fact, you get an extra 2 rounds on it. Amazing. Shoots flawlessly. It's, it does make the magazines a bit expensive. You're already paying Sig Sauer prices for your magazines anyways. And then you're adding another, I think they're $34 for the mag guts conversion. But honestly, well worth it. And big kudos to them for that, because that came out perfectly. I had left this one stock, and I changed my other 2 to these mag guts. I think I'm going to go ahead and convert this one to the mag guts too, because it is amazing. But that's enough of the SIG. We didn't come here to see the SIG. You came here to see the Max Power. Now, this is a gun I'd never heard of, didn't know anything about. My buddy got it, and it's a pretty nice shooting gun. It is safe, no bullets in it. I don't know if any of you have heard of the Max Power K100. It is specifically the X trim. This one's a little more expensive than what normally be in my wheelhouse for an everyday gun, for having a gun. They run about $600. So they're a little pricier, but they are metal slide. It is a polymer frame. This gun, I think they said they officially came out in the mid 90s originally. I think it's when they said it came out, was thing, and that was like the version 6. This is a Mark 21, so quite a few versions later. And you look at it and go, well, it's got a lot of the standard stuff. It's got your slide lock. It's got your safety. It is not a decocker, which is kind of surprising in modern guns. Almost all of them have decockers. No decocker on this at all. So that kind of leaves you to the only way you're going to get it out is to do it the very unsafe way. Now, it does have a half cock position. So if you're going to carry it, it'd be fairly safe. It does have your Glock style takedown, so you can see where a lot of the influences this gun came from. The ergonomics on this gun are very good. I'd rated it as good, if not better, than the SAR 9 that I love so much. Of course, this one's, double action, single action hammer. I like that quite a bit. But this gun has one big party trick on it. And you can kind of see it there. Barrel rotates. Now it shares that with big names or Beretta, like 2 different Beretta models rotate the barrel. And there's probably a couple of more obscure guns that have done it that I'm unaware of. But the big one is the Beretta, like specifically modernly is the Beretta PX4 Storm does that. And it helps reduce the recoil on the gun when it's firing, giving it a smoother firing. and it does it quite well. It does feel a little different when that rotates, but so when you feel it going back, there is a difference in how the gun feels in your hand. So anybody who's been shooting long enough would notice the difference. But other than that, it shoots amazing. It is this is their mid-level gun. There's a base level, mid-level, and a high level. I like I said, never heard of Grand Power. It is imported. It's from Slovakia, which I didn't even know they were on the map for guns. So that's big news to me. But if this is the quality of their gun, we're checking out, because this is a fantastically good shooting, comfortable gun to fire. The polymer, I felt worse. I felt better. It's kind of a mid-range. The plastic safeties, this is becoming more popular with polymer guns. If you want a manual safety, some people don't. But if you want one, that's becoming more popular. I'm not a big fan of the plastic handled safeties. It's got a very basic rail, but you can put a light on it if you want to carry it. Now, the gun was designed by a ex-military officer. But as far as I could tell, looking into the history of it, it really hasn't done much past that. It might be used in the military, in one of the Slovakian militaries. It hasn't really been widespread anywhere else. They first, and I want to say it was 2005 or 6, is the first time they imported these, for the American market. And since then, they've gone quite a few versions since then. So, and there's still, this is the Mark 21, there's a Mark 24. So there's a newer version than this one out. Now, interestingly, it's got a fiber optic front sight, basic blacked out rear sight on it. Nothing special there. Looks to be adjustable on the rear. The front does not look to be adjustable, but it does look like you can change it out if you wanted to. So you get to really, I don't know if any of you have ever dealt with an optic or a fiber optic, but that when the light hits that red, it makes it so easy to target in on it. They are kind of amazing. So if you're going for strict, iron sight target shooting, fiber optic is a very nice way to go. It's very similar to, bring back to the SIG, ultra bright front sight. They just don't use light to do this. They just make it very bright. This one goes with the fiber optic. The stiffening on it is adequate. I felt better. I felt worse. The gun fits in your hand good enough that you don't really feel the stiffening as much. So I guess it doesn't need as much as modern, a lot of modern guns. Again, pulling out the SIG, this is a lot more rough than this is. This is smoother. So I don't know if they're just bucking the trend on that, or if it's, the ergonomics are so good, because the gun, you don't need the rougher stiffening. With the rotating barrel, the heavy frame, the heavy slide, it shoots amazing. So it's not needed really. And your hand gets quite up in there. It's well up in there. It's a good feel. The gun comes, or this one specifically came with 3 magazines actually. Came with 3 magazines. They look kind of mech-gary, but there is literally nothing stamped on them anywhere. They are completely, they don't even have, they got the holes, but they don't actually have any numbers to tell you even how much it holds, though I do know it holds 15 rounds. That's interesting. They don't even have a stamp on the bottom. Huh. But 3 mags in a modern gun for this price point is pretty decent. You do have the back straps, You can get this one, which gives you a little more up here if you need to fill it out in the top. And you have the two different ones down here. It's a very common change. This one's got the stock one on it, and actually, usually I change that out. This one did not need that change at all. It feels really good. So, other than that, there's not a lot more to this. The case is, I've seen worse cases, but it's plain, unadorned, nothing special about it. So you kind of think, well, $600. Where's the $600 going? $600 is going into this gun. In the modern age of polymer pistols and stuff, I'm getting more appreciative of the heavier slided guns. And this one's got a heavy slide to help that recoil, and that rotating barrel is just cool as hell. Look at that. That's just cool. No one can deny that that ain't cool. The gun action is very smooth. It's very reminiscent of a 1911, really, when you get down to it. It feels very 1911-y when you're moving the slide. With modern stainless slides and aluminum slides and everything else in the modern guns, they just don't really feel the same as they do when you get an all steel like this. And I think maybe that's what in some of the modern guns I kind of miss, is the fact you just don't really feel that anymore. Until this gun, I hadn't really identified that, I was missing that heavier feel of the metal slides. So it's good that this one has it. Their higher end model goes for competition. This one can compete. If you're going into, like, if you're a beginner going into it, it's not a bad model to pick up for early competition. It's moderately priced. It's supremely accurate. The recoil's low. You could do a lot worse than this gun for the price point for if you're going into competition. Now for carry, well, the biggest problem I'd run into with carrying is aftermarket. Are you going to find, Kydex holsters for this? I question that. Are you going to find, are you going to find, well, the light's pretty straightforward, though. You only get one position, so it's whatever light will fit on it. There's not much adjustability there, but it is a flat face trigger guard, so you can fit a lot of lights there, I suppose. It is a very longish barrel. You notice from the, if y'all know what the 365's basic size is, it's a longish barrel, probably about 4.5 inch barrel on it. The trigger, it's very, if you like a 1911, you're probably going to like this trigger. It's very crisp. Of course, if you're going to go for competition, you want a crisp trigger. Short reset, so that's nice. Damn short reset. So you got that going for it. That's about Legion level short. So overall, a very cool gun from Slovakia. If you're all going, I never even realized Slovakians, had any major pistols. Well, apparently do, and apparently they don't make them half bad. I probably, the SAR has this exact same, opening where the barrel is. Again, I think it's for heat dissipation. I could do with it or without it, honestly, on either gun, either this one or the SAR. Being competition model, keeping it cool and firing consistently is very important, so that makes sense. The rears, they work. I will say that they work. They're a little too severe. You could do a whole lot with that, otherwise, that you don't have here. The SIG, has very basic ones, but they work really well. You know how much I love my SAR and the serrations in the back and how it's easy to grip and just rack the slide. This one, I think they were going for more an aesthetic look on it, making them sharper and deeper to keep kind of the theme going. It's very Ruger-esque, I would say. Still not my favorite of the designs. Again, you just pull these down, slide pops off. Very basic teardown. The biggest difference in this one is in the slide itself. There's a catch on the barrel that keeps the barrel from going too far. So that's the secret to the rotating barrel on there. But there you go. You have the Grand Power K100, imported by, looks like Global Ordnance out of Florida. Never heard of them either. But that's basically what it is. Oh, I was wrong. This is the Mark 12, not the Mark 21. My bad. So it's the Mark 12. So this one's more mid 2000s model. So that's closer to where this one came out. But there you go. There is your Grand Power MK. Oh, sorry, K100 Mark 12. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. We have another couple interesting guns coming up in the future. So like and subscribe, and have a great weekend or week or wherever you are.